Welcome back, everyone, to the ULTY portfolio update. This is the data as of end of day, September 23rd. And we got 8 headlines to crush through today. Quite a lot in today's portfolio, lots of movement to the up and to the down. ULTY overall was down 0.53% today, closed at 5.64. The NASDAQ closed down 0.66% today. The Fed was saying that there's a challenging situation ahead. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell didn't instill the markets with confidence after that rate cut. So lots of movement in the overall markets and especially in the ULTY positions. Let's get right into some of what's been going on. There was a modest decrease in the AUM today, down maybe like $4 million on a $3.4 billion portfolio. So not huge. The gains for today, we had $51 million in stock gains today. ULTY bought a lot more. They increased their position in SoundHound, quantum computing, Pony AI, Symbiotic, Bitmine, and Figma. So all 6 stocks that they had bought yesterday, they added to their position. Those 6 stocks now are about 13% of the portfolio. And net, those 6 stocks were up $19 million. It was only Bitmine and Figma that were down. But the overall portfolio was down today, down $61 million in stock losses, offset by the $51 million gain, meant we had a net loss of $11 million in stocks. Only 8 winners on the day. That was up from yesterday, where they had, how many winners did they have yesterday? 4 winners, so that's improvement. And 14 losers for a 36% win rate today. So as I said, ULTY bought about $130 million worth of those 6 stocks that they purchased yesterday. Some of those were up good, and 2 of them were up down a bit. Now let's take a look at the winners and losers of the day, starting with the biggest winner, which was our quantum computing stock, Rigetti. And there wasn't really any news on Rigetti today. I wish there was. Could have something to talk about, but I looked through their headlines, nothing. I think it's just more quantum computing hype. That's kind of validated by quantum computing, the stock itself, which was up 5.91% today. And let's take a look actually at IonQ, even though ULTY sold IonQ. See how they did. Yep, up 4.45%. So the quantum space keeps on moving up, which is good to see. Rocket Lab was up 6.2% today. The news on that is that they delivered 2 spacecraft to NASA, and this is going to be part of NASA's mission. It's called Escape and Plasma Acceleration and Dynamic Explorers, or ESCAPADE mission, and Rocket Lab delivered 2 of the spacecraft that are going to be participating in that mission today. So that's kind of what was going on there with Rocket Lab. Quantum computing up 5.91% today. SoundHound, this one had a kind of an interesting headline. SoundHound was up on a collaboration with Red Lobster. So Red Lobster partners with SoundHound AI to power phone ordering across all locations. So if you call up and order some food from Red Lobster, I guess if you're not using DoorDash, but you're calling Red Lobster, you might get a SoundHound AI agent. So that's, I guess, why they were up today. Pony AI, that one was up 3.79% on news that they're going to be expanding to Singapore. Remember, Pony AI is a Chinese company, and they do autonomous vehicles, robo-taxi, people carriers, I think. And so they're going to be doing that in Singapore. Now, that was the major stuff that was up today. What was down? NewScale was down 7.47% today. The portfolio took a $13 million loss. The news here was that this company that owns 10% of NewScale, Fluor, I think it's pronounced Fluor, F-L-U-O-R Corp., they sold about $200 million worth of stock recently. They filed that on the 19th, and the transaction was on the 19th. It was reported today, September 23rd. And previously to that, they had sold about $96 million worth of stock. So Fluor company selling a lot of NewScale. If you look at who else is selling NewScale, their CFO, their COO, Their CEO has been selling a lot of NewScale. Yeah, 500,000 here, 500,000 there. Their chief technology officer has sold some. So a lot of people with chief in their name have been selling out of NewScale this year so far. And they looks like they have bad prices there. Fluor got $43 a share, but I think their CEO only got $17 a share when he sold. Anyways, so that was the news with NewScale down 7.4% on that insider dumping $200 million worth of stock. Affirm Holdings also down. Similar news. Their insiders have been selling. I looked up the CEO of Affirm, Max Levchin. He's been selling stock. Most recent sale, including a sale of 651,000 shares on September 22nd. So he's divesting from that, selling about $58 million worth of his own company. So that's why Affirm was down. Symbiotic was down as well. This is one of the ones they bought yesterday. UBS downgraded Symbiotic from, I think it was a hold to a sell. So that drove it down. And then Opendoor. Opendoor's been getting hammered lately. Let's take a look at that stock. As much as it pains me to do it. $7 a share, down 15% today. In the last 5 days, down 21%. So the reason for that is that George Noble, who I believe is maybe a hedge fund manager, but it seems like he ran one of the Fidelity funds a long time ago. So an industry veteran, someone very knowledgeable in finance, has been tweeting about Opendoor, saying it's a generational bag job is more like it. It's the same pile of crap, same leadership with the same objective of pumping the stock. He's very negative on Opendoor. He's been saying at $1.50. So Opendoor down 15% on the day. Now, ULTY did add a position to the portfolio today, a company called MP Materials, which does magnets and rare earth minerals from what I can tell. It's not 100% clear yet to me, but the news headline was that they got an investment from the Department of Defense, $400 million. They're partnering with Apple as well, and the S&P 400 added MP Materials to their index. So positive news there. The stock today was up 2%. In the last 5 days, up 10%, and in the last month, 3%. So fairly flat. It might be that the ULTY traders are expecting more volatility around MP Materials company. And so I want to wrap up now by just looking at the Opendoor trade again. You know, yesterday we were around the $8 range. Today, Opendoor's trading at $7. ULTY added 2 new trades here. I'll highlight them in yellow. One was a covered call that they sold, and the other was a buy to close. They were closing out a previous covered call, and they took a little bit of a premium collection there. The previous one they'd sold for $2.97 million, and they bought it back for $1.1 million. So net, they were up $255,000 today, trying to cushion that blow. But right now, it seems like we're going to be overall down on this Opendoor position of about $19 million. And I believe that will be the trigger for this net credit to be considered return of capital. Because when the underlying holding goes down and you have to sell it, but you do collect options premium, that I believe, don't quote me, but my understanding is that's when something will be called return of capital, even though it's not actually returning your capital, it's returning option income. So the Opendoor trade, we're going to continue to monitor that. The calls are still expiring on the 26th this Friday. We'll see if they extend some of those or if they just close out this losing position. So that wraps up the ULTY portfolio today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.